That's good.
I got Brad Ferguson here. He is coming to you from Carmel, Indiana, where they have roundabouts. Boy, do they have roundabouts. You know, one of my favorite places in the world is Carmel, California.
It's a little different. Yeah, we call it Carmel here in Indiana, and yeah, the one in California is Carmel.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very beautiful place. It's,
Yeah,
it's maybe one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Carmel by the sea,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's right there.
Carmel, Indiana is really nice. Nice. There's some rolling hills a little bit,
Yeah.
and the roundabouts just make the traffic flow.
All right.
Hundreds of roundabouts.
And you're an expert on roundabouts, and you might be the world's number one expert on using FSD to go through roundabouts. I suspect that you've done more roundabouts in FSD than pretty much anybody.
I would say so. I
So,
gotta think I'm very high in that regard. Unless there's
so
like some Tesla Uber drivers going crazy in
possibly.
Carmel or something like that.
So 14.1.4 is currently in your vehicle, and you've had a chance to drive it around. So let's start
Yeah,
there, because that's the number one thing on everybody's mind, really, if we face it, is Robotaxi and all the ramifications. So
yeah.
what's your take on 14.1.4?
I'd say there's brilliance under the covers. That's how I would talk about it today. So I I think there's some things with it that would annoy the casual person,
Mhm.
where there's just like this fluttering of brakes, and it's a little cautious in certain situations where it drives really well, but it's really cautious pulling into traffic. Sometimes in intersections, it can be a little cautious. Um, Around crosswalks, it can be really cautious, and you can just have this fluttering of the brakes. And I think like casual people who like haven't been, testing this out for years, they're gonna be, oh, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, whoa. But like, even though it's doing everything else, amazingly well. And
Yeah, so I think about that in terms of the technology. They're obviously trying to be super safe at crosswalks, super safe
right.
with pedestrians in any situation, super safe with bicycle riders, and
Mhm.
of course entering onto traffic, especially if it's a fast street. I
Yeah,
we live 1 block away. We have to turn onto this street, which is, I think it's 45 is the stated, but people go much over that.
right.
And so the car will be cautious sometimes about doing that, sometimes
Mhm.
overly so.
Yeah.
And I'm on 12.6 or something. Um,
And I think it's totally fine to be cautious, but some people can get frustrated by those
right,
things.
right.
But it does a lot of things great. I still feel like it's near perfect. I'm curious if they can fix this, fluttering or
Mhm, mhm,
cautiousness, if they can fix that with just version 14.2.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm hoping the next version we get is 14.2. It would be nice.
Yeah. What about a 14.1.4.1 that's specifically designed to get rid of the flutter?
I don't think they should do anything just to appease like this interim step.
I see. Okay.
Whatever is going to help them progress the fastest, I think is what they should do.
All
And
right.
I'd be hopeful that with 14.2, the Cybertrucks would get it. But it's great to see people getting their hands on it. And I
Yeah.
feel like a portion of the rally this week was because of more people getting their hands on it and seeing, how good it really is. I know I was dour in the first part of my answer there, but it's much smoother and nearly all of what it's doing. So even though there's some, a step back, there's like, I
Mhm.
feel like there's 10 steps forward.
Right, right, right. So this week there was a lot of conversation back and forth. I've already talked about it like every night on the show, but I'd love to hear your take about what the real regulations are about steering wheels and brakes.
Uh-huh.
And somebody posted yesterday this reg. regulation that NISTA passed in 2022 that would seem, according to Grok, and I read the whole thing on air this morning, according to Grok, pretty much I think means Tesla does not have to do anything except self-certify in order to build as many cars as they want to without brake pedals or steering wheels. So that's the latest I've seen. What are you looking at?
And what does self-certification mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. See,
Like, does that put them in a pickle otherwise, or does that compromise them in some way?
so my understanding is that everything with NISTA is pretty much self-certification. In other words, even your crash tests, you do your own crash tests,
Hmm.
and then you self-certify that you've done the crash test and that every single part of the car did what it's supposed to do. Now, I think NISTA might have outside or inside people that eventually do a crash test, but it could be months later.
Hmm.
So I think the self-certification process is normal.
So I'm just gonna look it up as we talk.
Okay, all right. So, so that certification issue caused Farzad and others to be concerned that we might need to put a steering wheel and a brake in. And
No, it's a FMVSS, so the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards
okay,
is what limits autonomous operations to 2,500 vehicles across the whole United States.
right. But then there was the update in 2022. I think I have it right here. Just a second. My goodness, way back up here. Let's see. Uh, wow, this was a long show this morning. Okay, here we go. We've got,
That means you nerded out, right?
oh man, I
Long
nerded out this
show.
morning. Yeah, yeah. The 2022 NISTA final rule, effective September 26th of 2022, amends several parts of the FMVSS to explicitly accommodate level 4 or 5 automated driving systems without manual controls like steering wheels, pedals, or driver's seats. Enables manufacturers to self-certify compliance for those amended standards without needing exemptions, effectively remove all production limits tied to the exemption process for those aspects of vehicle design. So as long as the car is 4 or 5, certified to be 4 or 5, and then they have to certify that the driver's side seat is now has the same safety regulations that you would normally have in a passenger seat, which of course is a different airbag, blah, blah, blah. So as long as I do those things, it appears that companies can produce and sell unlimited numbers according to Grok and according to my best interpretation of what I've seen.
So let me push back here.
Okay.
So why would have Robin Denholm, the chairperson of Tesla, come out this week and say, well, if we want to, we can put in the steering wheel and pedals.
Why would she say that?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so remember Farzad's initial problem or his initial conversation, it wasn't necessarily about regulations only. It was also about just not having enough market in the early days, and therefore not fully utilizing the factory. And so the idea would be, hey, we don't know how fast we'll be spooling these out. We don't know how many people will buy them without a steering wheel and a pedal. Therefore, why wouldn't we offer it this way? It's so cute, so clever, and so fun. Why wouldn't we offer it also with a steering wheel and a pedal? So she could have been responding to that as opposed to the safety issue.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to watch your video.
Okay, all right, or ask Rock yourself. I gave you the number. Um, yeah, 22 effective. Oh, maybe I didn't give you the
You
number.
said 2022 ruling.
Yeah, 2022 ruling. Yeah, anyway, so that's
There is a Texas thing where people were thinking Tesla needed to do something extra to be able to operate in Texas, and Tesla and Waymo are on the same footing in Texas, and there was something. I don't know if it's 2022, but it's like 2205, where they can, I don't know if it's called self-certifying as well for that one, but essentially they can expand in Texas and not have to wait for like certain rulemaking to happen in Texas.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Yeah. And I'm guessing that some of these other states that they're going into. So there was a bunch of nonsense this morning. I think it was probably that media outlet that we no longer follow uh, because he's such a Teslac. But I think he was commenting that there was all kind that Tesla
Fred
was
Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone,
Fred Flintstone.
Flintstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so I think he was saying, "Well, they haven't turned in the paperwork in five of these places." And I'm like, I think these guys know what they're doing. I just really have to believe that they have somebody on the ground in every state that they're involved in, and they know exactly what's needed, and they're in conversations. I could be wrong, but it would be crazy if they didn't.
Yeah, so there is a March 2022 NHTSA final rule amended for FMVSS. So I'm curious to dig in. I'll have to watch the video.
There you go. There you
So
go.
what's next? What else should we talk
All
about?
right. So then today, let's see. I have. Well, listen.
Well,
As long as, huh?
there was something I posted about some crashes with Robotaxi. So
Right.
yeah, Mr. Fudstone reported on Tesla now. If there's accidents that happen in the Robotaxi network, they have to report each one to NHTSA,
Mhm.
so to the feds essentially.
Right.
Um, and allegedly they're heavily redacted, but there's been four accidents with the Robotaxi. I don't know if they're all in Austin or not. Um,
Hmm.
Three of them were in July, and one was in September. And I think the one that was most recent involved a car like hitting a concrete post or something like that in a parking lot. So it hit an inanimate object. So it's like these are fender benders,
Sure. Sure. Of course they are.
but
Yeah.
the reporter calls it crashes or
Yeah. Right.
crashes.
Right. Yeah. So you'd
And they
think.
could be getting back into or hit from behind.
Right.
So it doesn't mean like the Tesla's at fault, but like these are fender benders. It's really a non-issue. Obviously, you don't want it to happen at all.
Right.
So you want to get that cleaned up, but uh, these are things that'll just buff out.
So Brian Wang says that there's a site for Austin, and
Yeah.
the Austin site gives you every single accident or any kind of other confusion, which apparently Waymo has a lot of problems with confusing, making problems for traffic.
Yeah,
Um,
so there's so what you're talking about there, and I heard the part that Brian was talking about was that um they can get reported as like being a nuisance.
yeah.
So like reports of being a nuisance, and then also, traffic citations.
Mhm.
So those are tracked, and then accidents are also tracked.
So according to Brian, my last conversation, he said there had only been the one accident in Austin,
Austin.
which was the one with the UPS driver. So that would mean that all the rest would have to be California, where there's a million miles plus of driving.
Hmm.
So out of 1,250, so out if you're looking at 1,250,000 miles divided by four, you'd be looking, at 200, 300,000 miles per crash.
Now, was the claim on the conference call where Tesla talked about 250,000 miles? Did they say in Austin
In
specifically?
Austin and another million miles in California. Yeah.
Well, I think that's really interesting about Austin because I think they've been running 11 cars.
And so they
Uh,
got that. Yeah.
so if you do the math on it,
July,
it,
August, September, October. That's
it's
4 months.
yeah. And they might have
80,000
been
per.
reporting on 3 months, but let's say it's four.
Yeah.
Um, you basically have 23,000 miles per car over 4 months. That's, 70,000 miles a year. That's pretty
Very small.
impressive.
I would think that was small. I'm figuring the cars should be able to get 50,000, 60,000 miles each
Well, you
based
got
on,
the well, so you got 70,000 miles per year per car. That's a
oh, I'm
lot.
sorry, 70 per car. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not,
Yeah.
that's per month. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
And the service is like turning off like at, I think, 2 a.m. now.
I think so. Yeah.
And it starts back at 6. So that's with them shutting it down.
All right. So are you looking forward to another ride in R2 or 3 or 17 in Austin coming up next week?
Yeah, I'm heading down to Austin. I'll be there Monday through Friday. So I'm, yeah, eager to ride the Robotaxi, check it out. I'm curious if they'll have version 14 in or not. So maybe I'll do a bunch of rides just to see if I can see like similar behavior or not. Um, I'm curious if they change anything around the shareholder meeting. I'm not holding my breath, but I think it would be cool. And I'd love to get like another ride in the cyber cab. So even if they just
Oh,
run
yeah.
the on
Yeah.
their campus,
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool to get into one of those again.
So of course the big thing that they could do, even if it was only for a week, they could pull the safety rider, during the event.
Uh-huh.
And because they know that 90% of the rides are going to be stockholders.
Mhm.
So I doubt that's going to happen, but I think that if I was doing it, I can guarantee you I'd be pulling the safety rider
Mhm.
while the stockholders are in town.
I think that would be a great idea. I do. I think that would I think it'd be fine. And they, worst case they have a fender bender.
Right,
Like,
right,
who
right.
cares?
Yeah, exactly. So the main reason you're going to Austin, I assume, is because you want to be there to scream and yell when the vote comes in.
Yeah, that'd be great. Uh,
And
yeah, if you haven't voted, vote your shares. If you voted once, don't assume that all your accounts have voted. So make sure you vote in accounts where you own all the shares. Um, yeah, I think it's important that people vote. I'm not really concerned about the votes. I'm surprised that there's some doubt around it.
especially on the betting sites.
Hmm.
I think they're sitting at like 79% yes. When I heard that the other day, I was thinking, I don't ever bet on anything, but I think I should take that bet.
It might be some easy money right
That
there.
could be some very easy money.
Not
So what,
not bet not gambling advice
not gambling.
for entertainment purposes only.
So, so what else do you hope to accomplish in Austin when you're down there for 5 days?
I'm going to see Larry down there. I hope to see some other folks that
CERN
live
will be
in
there. CERN will be there for sure.
Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cern. Dave Lee's around there somewhere. I don't know if I'll get to see him. Rob Maurer is going to be in town for some meetings with First Principles Group.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I'm guessing he is. The Ben Holland's also with First Principles Group. So like seeing shareholders, we might try to put something together last minute. Around things. There's like an after party that the Tesla Owners Club of
Oh
Austin
yeah. Hmm.
is got going on. I think it's near Giga, Texas. Um, so it might be at that like boring company diner or whatever it
Oh,
is,
okay.
boring themed. I don't think there's an association, but might be there and they're having a DJ. So
Yeah, and that
there's some things
reminds me,
happening.
Brian White will also be there. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, and then what are you hoping at the meeting itself, other than the voting? Is there anything that you're kind of imagining in your mind could happen at the meeting that would be important? I mean, they're supposed to have a chorus line of Optimi, but what 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 do you think could happen at the meeting? Anything important?
let me dream for a bit.
Sure.
I'm just gonna like be like crazy fantasy land here.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So we got this master plan for, and it was this kind of vague thing about, sustainable abundance, and we also need to be cautious because, a lot of jobs are going to be misplaced and things like that. Um, and I think they talk some about autonomy in Master Plan 4. I think it would be cool to get more of an unveil of if there's more vision behind that, the
So
Master Plan 4.
So for Elon, who said, "Oh, you guys thought it was too weak," I could. He didn't say that, but basically, that's everybody's like, "That's weak," and he went,
Uh,
"Oh, I thought it was just fine, but okay." So you're saying that maybe this would be an opportunity for him to give us the updated version that gave a little more meat and potatoes on there.
yeah, I don't think you need to geek out on like this crazy economy thing that he had in Master Plan 3, which probably will happen eventually with all these batteries, and maybe we have super energy like Tony Seba and Rethink have been talking about, where you might have periods where electricity is free,
Yeah.
things like that, where during the day you might actually store power using hydrogen.
Hmm,
So
hmm.
you split water and you got hydrogen, um, and then you can use that hydrogen to make water again and all that good stuff. Like he got super nerdy on that. I don't think I'm not asking for that. I just think it'd be cool to get, more some more meat around maybe what's coming with Optimus without revealing anything that competitors can use, and maybe share more about how they're seeing the rollout for Robotaxi.
Hmm, hmm. Yeah, yeah. A little
So
more
we so
detail.
we've used the safety monitors to figure out pickup and drop off. I've been discussing this on the channel here. Um, they've been using them to figure out other quality things with the rides. So they're not just there to hit like an emergency button.
Right, right.
They're there for the whole experience. So once they're done there, then they can move on. So what does that process look like? And, Elon talked about it being, a few months in each city or in each area before they can move on. So in general, it'd be nice to get like more clarity around the size and shape of things. What do they expect from regulators? Maybe they're not going to comment on that. Um, you know.
So here's an idea, Elon. I'm giving away for free today. You could have one of your safety riders, one of the ones who's done a lot of rides. You
Mhm.
could have him on the stage and he could, kind of maybe the crowd would like to ask him questions. What's the experience been like? What is he has he been one of the ones who pointed to certain things that have been fixed? Or I don't know. There might be an opportunity there for the safety rider to become more of a personality as opposed to just a lump in the front seat.
I think they're more engineers.
Yeah.
People speculated at first that they were there for security.
Mhm.
They were maybe worried that some people that don't like Tesla would try to sabotage the robotaxi efforts. Um, but I think they're more like on the engineering side.
I see. I see. Well, so this will be like if you graduated at the bottom of your class, you get this opportunity to go to work for Tesla. That's funny. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm not quite following. Sorry.
I see. So if you finished at the very bottom of your class in engineering,
Mhm.
get a job as sitting in the front seat of a Tesla with a monitor.
Yeah. I as far as building things as an engineer, it's not the best spot, but I think it's a critical spot.
Okay, all right. That's why you.
I'm incredibly grateful for those people. Like you get in one of these robo taxis, let's say you're the safety monitor,
Yeah.
the person in the back can like blast music or, whatever. They could talk obnoxiously on their phone, uh, heckle you. You're like, you're not really allowed to talk,
Right.
try to get inside information or
Yeah.
other stuff, other juice out of you. So I really respect the people who did that work, and especially because it should be a temporary job.
Right. Yes.
So, if they live in Austin, they might be able to do it as it continues to expand to more neighborhoods, and that
Right.
just happened this week.
Yeah.
They expanded the service area, but once it goes to other cities, either they move to that city or they have to find some other role.
Right. 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 Well, Tesla stock was down today
Mhm.
after looking like it was going to hit my number. I
Uh,
was like, oh, I think we can hit 500 by Friday. Surely we could get there. And then today, people had different reasons, like the tech sell-off, which was a pretty substantial sell-off today.
mm.
People were talking about the anxiety over some of these things we just talked about. So did you have anything to say about the sell-off today, or what you think? Right now, it's up in the after hours.
Yeah, I think it was generally just with tech stocks, and there were a lot of growth names that were down. I know it wasn't uniform, but especially companies where they don't have, their earnings profile isn't, steady and super predictable, which Tesla's is not yet.
Right, right,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know people are excited about Robotaxi and Optimus, but these things are in the future and
hmm
they're not guaranteed.
hmm So we had Apple and Amazon reporting today. You and I talked about it a little bit in the green room. Both of them beating handily, both of them up in the after hours. And so I went through the rest of the tech companies. Everybody's up in the after hours tonight. So that bodes well for tomorrow in the techs getting
Yeah.
getting themselves back in line. But what I'm really interested in from what you're seeing, the overall earnings and the overall tech earnings have been phenomenal.
Mm.
People are talking about potentially 15% higher
Earnings.
earnings growth. Yeah, which would be like, I think the last time we had 50, maybe the only time in, I think they said the only time in a couple of decades was in 2021. We had one quarter, maybe the first quarter of 2021 when it was 15%. Uh,
And are they talking about that for the overall S&P?
the overall S&P, right?
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It's a big number.
That's a really big number.
Yeah. And
So, the market with all-time highs,
yeah,
all the consternation about that, like the reason you own stocks is they are companies and you own them for the earnings stream of that company.
right.
And if, earnings are accelerating or doing well, that's a good thing.
Yeah. And of course, NVIDIA had their um, meeting. They were part of a meeting. Jensen gave his keynote speech,
Yeah.
and that seemed to energize I was really shocked when tech was down at all yesterday, because it seemed like that really energized everybody in the tech world in terms of it really is an unlimited future.
So Nvidia was up a couple days before yesterday,
They
or
were way up on their all-time high. Yeah.
yeah, so it did react well to what Jensen Wang said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what he said is pretty crazy. So we did some math on it.
Oh, you did?
He said over the next 6 quarters, they have strong line of sight into Nvidia doing 500 billion in revenue, like $500 billion in revenue. It's just absolutely massive. It's
Yeah.
absolutely massive. I don't know like any other way I could state it. And we did some math to see, okay, what's that mean as far as the last 4 quarters of those 6 quarters? And how's that compared to where we saw NVIDIA, before that.
Right.
And essentially it means the last four of those quarters, they'll do 367 billion. So over a, 1 year period. And it was higher than our estimate, but it wasn't massively higher.
I
So
see.
I think it was like maybe 15% higher than where
Okay.
we had things. Our estimate was much higher than where Wall Street was,
Okay.
um, and significantly higher than Wall Street. So, Jensen said, we're going to be 15%, past even what we think. Um, so yeah, it's at a scale that's almost incomprehensible. There's some more competition coming. I know we heard this in Tesla land,
Yeah,
but
right.
like from AMD and from Broadcom,
Yes.
um, people can't just switch from NVIDIA immediately. There are hyperscalers, and hyperscalers are like your Google and Amazon and others. There are hyperscalers who want to make their own silicon,
Mhm.
and Meta is one of these. And they tried to make their own chips and run their chips on their own software, but they found it's too much of a pain. The software that NVIDIA makes, CUDA, it just makes things really easy. And they found that all the time they spent like trying to get the software right, it was costing them way more um, than if they had just bought the NVIDIA chips and
Right.
paid
Right.
paid through the nose for that.
So yeah, so I would think that these other companies, I mean, he, Jensen's always talking about these other companies, they don't have to wrestle away existing customers. We've got sovereign nations that
Yeah.
don't have their first NVIDIA chip yet. We have militaries all around the world that don't have their first chip yet. We
Hmm.
have universities around the world that don't have their first chip yet. One not just not a building full of chips. They don't have their first NVIDIA type computer.
Hmm.
So it seems like there's plenty of places to sell these, especially if they can do it at a slightly lower price or something to countries and other kinds of organizations that might not be able to afford NVIDIA or who, be standing in line until, Christmas 2028.
I think about video. So AI has done a great job in helping people be able to automate business processes with text,
Yes.
and we're leaning hard on that in our business at Rebellion Air and Halter Ferguson Financial. Um, but Tesla, Google, OpenAI, they're leaning very heavily on video. So, Google has YouTube and they have their I think it's called Veo 3 video model where you can make videos from that. OpenAI has Sora 2, their video platform. And when you're training those video models, it needs 100 to 1,000 times
Yeah.
more compute than you need for text.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like the demand for these huge AI, super farms or data centers, I don't believe it's going away anytime soon because you need all this video, you need robots in the real world, you'll
You
be
need
collecting the
inference all over
data.
the place.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something interesting about video. So it really is, we talk about this in the book a lot. In fact, I know you talk about it in your chapter. So I decided I wanted a video commercial, a one
Ooh.
minute commercial for the book. Yeah, for AI Rising.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna, there you, yeah, you can point to your name down there. I'm
Mhm.
gonna, I'm going to design a script for AI Rising, and then I'm going to ask Grok to please give me a prompt, for the video. So I did all that. And then I'm can't do art to save my life. And I've got this lady, Sarah, who's been with me for 10 years. So I sent it to Sarah and I said, okay, Sarah, here's what Grok is saying here's the prompt. And also Grok is saying, don't use me, use
Mhm.
one of these other resources. So she played around with those other resources for a day and she came back, she goes, I came back and put it in 𝐒𝐚𝐿𝐼magined, and 𝐒𝐚𝐿𝐼magine did a way better job than,
Mhm.
than the other ones. So I've seen the video. It still needed it had some issues with the voiceover. But the
Mhm.
video, when you see this video, it's really amazing. So
Mhm.
in the world that we're entering, where I can produce a video in 3 days, I may not be able the one who can do it. There's still going to be the need for that in this case graphic artist
Right.
who's going to actually do the work. She wouldn't be able to what do you call it, write the script to save her life. I mean,
Right.
she's not even English isn't even her first language.
Mhm.
So she needs somebody to write the script, but I can't do the art, so I need
Right.
somebody to do the art. And then you need me to be able to see the outcome and say
Mhm.
that outcome is fine or tweak it, tweak it, tweak it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it probably took you 3 days this time,
Yeah.
but now that you've learned lessons around it, and you know how to do it next time, next time it'd be a half day or less,
Right.
and maybe less than that. A lot of time that you're working with the AI, you're waiting for it to produce a result. So you can do it while you're reading or
Right.
something else. So yeah, I think it's super powerful. By the way, yeah, I did notice that there was a 1-star review for this,
There
but
is.
what we saw from this review was that they didn't read the book.
It was pretty obvious.
They said it was an AI doomer book, which it's totally not. It's an AI to the moon type book.
100%.
It's a optimistic book in general, um, more futuristic, and so like they didn't read the book. Um, so,
And the other 23 reviews are all 5-star.
well,
Yeah.
okay,
One of them even said brilliant. So clearly they read your chapter.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my chapter starts on page 101, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah.
The title of the chapter is the ASI disruption, the artificial superintelligence disruption, why your business has 2 to 5 years to become unrecognizable or disappear.
Yes. Unrecognizable. Yes.
So, mainly lighting a fire underneath all the small business owners and entrepreneurs and kind of showing them, why you want to embrace it now and try to figure it out and get use out of it now because it's only going to get better and your competitors are going to be embracing it. So you might as well, get started so that when it does get better, you're not just like blown off the stage.
Yeah, and for those folks who like to listen to all of us and watch my channel, your channel, etc., and they're like, well, those guys are pretty smart, but are they really the experts in this area? So in your particular chapter, the thing I was most impressed with was your thought that you almost need to rejigger your way of thinking about the future, the way you think about your products, the way you think about the competition, as opposed to being reactive, you better be proactive, is
Yeah.
kind of what you're saying. You went into way more detail than that. But I
Mhm.
think you could probably read about 100 experts on AI and the application to business. I don't think you're going to find anybody else saying it the way you said it. Your experience as a small business owner, your experience
Mhm.
working with startups, your experience in the financial world gives you a very different perspective than somebody who's an economist or a professor or something.
Yeah. And programmers will call me a hobbyist. So there's, programmers that are using agentic AI to program. They would probably call me a hobbyist because I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
I'm doing the same thing with my business to try to automate and free up my team and just create more value for our team, but also our clients.
Mhm.
Um, I'm pretty hardcore about this. So like the last few nights, I've been just getting the agentic AI going night after night, working on projects. I find it's useful, not for programming. I do think it's useful for programming, but for organizing.
Mhm.
It's really great at organizing thoughts and ideas, outlining things, structuring things. So it's not just like structuring code
Right.
and logic. It
Right.
can also structure help you structure your thoughts um, and your projects, things like that.
It's amazing for me for research. I mean,
Hmm.
I know we all use it for research, but all I do all day is research.
Yeah,
That's my job is to research all these news stories to make sure that the news story that I'm reading has some truth to it.
yeah,
Well, up until a few months ago, I would have to use only my brain. It's like, does this have the ring of truth? Are there
mhm,
these tells that I've been using my entire life to say that article doesn't smell right
yeah,
and I need to go, do some more. I'm not gonna report on that because I just not clear. Or I'd have to do three times more research to see if I could find two or three other people that were saying the same thing. With this, I go to Grok and I say, "Hey, Grok, is this story true?" And
mhm,
I just copy it into Grok. Grok goes, "Well, it's pretty much true and could be true." And then if I don't like what Grok is saying, it's easy enough to say, "Would you please go back and go deeper? Go, find more."
yeah,
And by the time I get done with it, usually it only takes one time, but sometimes I got to go two or three layers with Grok. But the whole thing takes like 7 minutes instead of hours.
yeah, yeah. You're not having to hunt down a bunch of paywalled websites where you can't even read the article legitimately without, paying something. I think it's critical that when you are verifying claims that the LLMs are making, that you force them to search the internet.
Hmm.
So you want them to provide citations. Now they can still hallucinate on what it's saying, but you're just much better off uh, when it is looking at citations. Now, the citations can be of people that are lying or
Right, right.
trying to bend the truth, calling fender benders crashes or things like that. Um, but it's much different than 2 years ago when the LLMs were not search enabled and they're just hallucinating all over the place and it was a joke. Like
Mhm.
that's no longer the case whatsoever. And
Yeah,
you can't do this in Grok now, but you can with Anthropic's Claude or OpenAI. You can force it to search as part of its answer. You can also instruct it to search. With Grok, even though you can't check the box, you can just say, "Hey, be sure that you search for some sources. I'm trying to verify this."
yeah, and if it's contentious and all, I'll say, please give me both sides of the story.
Hmm.
And then the other thing is that I only use the slow one, or the slow one. I only use the one that
Expert, yeah,
expert that has the reasoning. And I can see what it's saying. And sometimes I'll see that it's got me wrong. Within a couple of seconds, I'll see that as it's saying, this is what I think you're asking for. I'll go, oh, no, no, stop. That's not it. So you
yeah.
can watch the reasoning process. You can watch what it's looking for. I'll see, oh, it's going to Wikipedia and Slate or something.
Uh,
I'm like, no, 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 no. Well, or at least if you're going to use those, please use something from the right side of the aisle as well.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
That's all I got.
that's
Let's,
all you got.
yeah,
I
let's,
tried. I tried to get, see if you had any more up there, but
yeah.
I've
Let's
been
get
told.
right to the numbers.
All right. See you later. It's always great to have you on. All right, let's take a look at those numbers. So, as mentioned, we had a rough day. during regular trading hours, but not so rough after hours. And Tesla is now up a full percent, sitting at $444.76, which is one of those waypoints. I think the low for the day was 439.61. Once again, you could almost predict that. 440 isn't one of these. I mean, I know I'm not a technical guy, I'm not a chartist, but I do like these psychological tops and bottoms where that's where we've stopped in the past. And 440 has been one of those, and 444 has been another where we've seen the ceilings and the floors over and over and over again. So not shocking to me that 440 was tested again. Not shocking to me that we're sitting here at 444 in the after hours. Okay, so what about the bonds then? Not happy with the bond market. We're still sitting under 4.1, but we're sitting very close to 4.1 at 4.097. I continue. This is not a call yet. Still thinking, still trying to analyze. I do think we will go back down into the threes. It might take a week or so, but I'll let you know when I'm ready to make the call. But right now, I'm just pointing it out. I think it goes that direction. We have got oil still right in the same spot. It's down 33 cents in the pre-market at 60.24. Natural gas up very strongly today. We're now up over $4 at $4.08. That's up 3.11%. And I went and checked it out. And yeah, what we have here is a vertical line like this today, a very long vertical line, a very big day for natural gas in terms of an increase in price. And I did not find anything yet with regard to the reasons for that. Now, we had a hurricane. Sometimes natural gas is impacted by that. We've going into winter. Definitely natural gas is affected by that. We've just had some negotiations with Japan and China. We know there's opportunities there, but I don't have anything specific. So I'll let you know if I find something later. Gold up 21.60, back above 4,000 handily at 4,038. Silver up 0.3 today, or I'm sorry, in the pre-market at 48.76. So quite a ways to go to get back to all-time high. And copper at $5.11, which is about in the middle of where it's been the last few weeks. We've got the dollar. I'm sorry. It's like every day. Now, look, I'm only looking at the euro and the yen, okay, because that's all CNBC is showing me. And you're looking at the euro and the yen. And if you look at those two, it is mixed. And that's all I got for you. That's all. When I tell you it's mixed, that's what I'm looking at. All right, Bitcoin down 2,985, sitting at 107,740. Ethereum down even more, down 3.59% at 3,777, and that's where we are on those. Now, what about the equities for tomorrow morning? Well, as I said earlier, not shocking that we're looking at a NASDAQ that is recovering a ton. The NASDAQ is up a full percent at 26,152. The S&P up 0.56, and the Dow up 0.08, but the Dow wasn't even down today, was it? I think it was actually up. So none of that is, no, the Dow ended it down, but only 0.23%. So that is where we're looking at going into tomorrow. Later on tonight, you got Cern Basher, so you know you want to hang out for that. Last night, yeah, it was wild and crazy with Brian Wang. So I will put that card up right here. And a normal day tomorrow. So I think the only thing I got left to say is buy the book. 24, or I think it's 23 5-star ratings, one weird 1-star rating. Everybody is praising the book, backwards, forward, inside out, calling it a must-have, a must-read. So shouldn't you be reading it? Who is the book designed for? It's designed for a whole bunch of people. One would be people that are just interested in AI. They're just are interested in tech in general. And they really wanted to get something that was readable, understandable, because that's how we wrote it, about the entire AI thing, the entire stack, everything from mining and refining all the way through inference and applications. But that's half the book. The other half of the book is practicums, daily useful stuff. Now, my chapters, are partly useful. I have one chapter that talks about the future, talks about what kind of jobs are going to be gone, and what kind of jobs are going to be popping up, are be increasing dramatically. And I believe overall the job market will be just fine. But I go into all the details of that. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you have kids or grandkids, or if you are still if you're young enough, you're still in the working world, this impact is going to start hitting within maybe a year, and it's going to get to be a very large impact within 5 years. So are you prepared to switch jobs? Are your kids prepared to switch jobs? Because they might have to learn new skills, and the book is going to kind of point to some of those potential skills. So yeah, buying one that you can read yourself, and then you might encourage you to buy one or more for people that you think should be reading it in order to be in touch with what's going to happen next. By the way, the Audible is in reviews right now and should be out about a week from now. Now that we're actually in reviews, I think I can definitely say we're out about a week. All right, that's all I got for you right now. I'm going to say adieu. It's been nice talking to you.